Hey everyone, welcome to my channel. In today's video, we will delve into the topic of: do narcissists face karma? Narcissists are known to inflict profound harm and pain on the people around them. They succeed in crushing the soul of their victims to such an extent that the victims are left bewildered, shattered, consumed by self-doubt, and, in some cases, even contemplating suicide. Furthermore, apart from the emotional turmoil that victims endure, it can be difficult for others to comprehend the extent of their affliction and pain, as others may not have gone through anything similar. Considering the most devastating, overpowering, and bewildering impact that a relationship with a narcissist can have, which leaves the victim shattered and, in many cases, financially ruined, it is only natural that many victims seek revenge, and become impatient for their narcissists to trip up and fall foul of karma. Now, this leads us to contemplate on the definition of karma. Karma is a beautiful concept from Eastern philosophy, which can be summarized as the principle of what goes around, comes around, or more commonly known as, you reap what you sow. However, this raises a question. If karma holds true, then why do narcissists appear to thrive in their lives, despite their misdeeds? Many victims perceive the narcissist as being happy and thriving after the discard, finding it to be profoundly unfair. Narcissists seem to look confident, brutal, strong, and seemingly lucky. The image they project is of someone who enjoys abusing others. They seem to be nowhere close to facing karma. Nevertheless, let me assure you that this is not entirely true. It is really important to understand that for all the grandiose behavior of the narcissist, all of the moving on immediately and all of the continuing to extract energy from the outer world to avoid healing their inner wounds, that having a great time, being on the easy street, and getting off scot-free is not what is really going on. Understandably, it's hard to see this side of things, because it is us that have been cruelly cast aside, stripped of everything, and left as a mere shell of who we once were, and it is imperative that we may ask, where's the karma in that? Hence, a compelling question that many seek an answer to is, do narcissists end up paying for abusing, hurting, and destroying the lives of their victims? Is karma going to get them? Well, we all want to know the answer to this question. And if you reflect upon it, you'll realize that karma has already dealt its blow to the narcissist. Let's try to understand it this way. What does each individual truly desire in life? I think we can unanimously agree that it's love, happiness, good health, success, and all the good stuff is what we all seek. I understand that you may view the narcissist as possessing these things, but upon closer analysis, you will realize that they really don't. Allow me to elaborate on the reasons, and hence you will likely understand why they don't have it all. We all understand that true happiness comes from feelings of inner peace, contentment, and wholeness. But, unfortunately, for the narcissist, they experience none of these. Narcissists live a life of inner torment. They live their whole lives with no true meaning to it at all. They are individuals plagued by unhappiness. Joy, peace, contentment, and satisfaction are non-existent within them. Nothing they obtain ever suffices or brings them fulfillment. That's why they whine and complain about every single thing. They are paranoid and mentally exhausted from having to wear a mask of sanity all the time when they are in public. This is their karma. The whole life of a narcissist is a struggle. A struggle to keep the reality away. They lead an existence where nothing is genuine, whether it be their connections with others, their notions of happiness, their commitments, their friendships, and even their family relationships are all a facade. there are always two versions of everything in their lives. One is the reality, and the other one is their own illusion, which they keep defending until their last breath. Narcissists lack the ability to savor and fully embrace the present moment. Relaxing and genuinely enjoying life is foreign to them. The concept of love, both giving and receiving, eludes them, and they are devoid of inner peace. In essence, they are already living in a state of turmoil and suffering, which is their karma. The paradox of their life lies in the fact that the very thing narcissists needed most during their childhood was love, and yet the one thing they abuse and distance themselves from in their adulthood is also love. Imagine how unfortunate it is to have food in front of you and die suffering from hunger. This is the destiny of a narcissist. Picture a life where you never genuinely experience love, and never truly feel any emotions. Envision really not liking the person that you are, and yet knowing that it's too difficult to change. Imagine living a life where everything is a facade. The image you present to others and the self-awareness you hold are all built on falsehoods. Envision being conscious of your true self, while living in a state of perpetual fear that others might uncover it. Picture yourself knowing that you are living a lie every single day, and every moment feels fake, all the while dreading the inevitable day when you will be exposed, requiring you to start anew. Even though narcissists cannot fathom what life would be like as a normal, healthy, and authentic person, they are well aware that their existence as a narcissist is filled with misery. Despite this realization, they remain unwilling to change their ways. Their whole life is bad karma if you think about it. Their childhood was obviously so chaotic that it produced a maladaptive, disordered, and maladjusted person. Just think about the inability to give or receive love. Narcissists are incapable of doing that. Also, envision being an adult and having childlike impulses and fears. It certainly doesn't sound like a fantastic situation to be in. Furthermore, if you are dealing with covert narcissists, it can turn out to be a particularly daunting challenge. They seem to be in a perpetual state of survival, displaying poor impulse control, and additionally, they also carry profound fears of the world, of people, and of relationships. These individuals are truly troubled. Believe me when I say this. They have faced or are currently experiencing the consequences of every bit of bad karma you may wish upon them. Especially when they lost you, someone who genuinely cared for them, all because of their foolish misdeeds and actions. However, it is crucial to understand that the battle the narc is waging is not with you. It never has been. Instead, the battle they are fighting is with themselves. You, very sadly, are just collateral damage. As indeed are all the others they left devastated in their wake of destruction. Core to the narcissist's psyche is a deep sense of shame. They loathe themselves. They are desperately lacking in self-confidence and self-esteem. They sense ridicule at every corner and are jealous of and resentful towards anyone who is happy and fulfilled. Their minds are constantly on edge, frantically seeking narcissistic supply and obsessively strategizing to acquire it. They are imprisoned in their own bodies and by their own minds. It's a life sentence, literally. Karma could indeed serve a more intense punishment. But they are serving a sentence every hour of every day. Sadly, the nature of the disorder is such that karma comes daily. The fact is, nearly all the choices and decisions that we make entail consequences, whether good or bad, and sometimes a combination of both. Each day, the narcissist wakes with their impaired and delusional mindset trapped in a permanent state of sickness and mental disorder, where making sound and healthy decisions is not a part of their condition. On the contrary, it is quite the opposite. Each day, the narcissist consistently makes numerous harmful and delusional choices that have severe clinical repercussions on life and well-being, especially mental health. So, would you say that it is possible to do this each day of your life and reap absolutely no bad consequences? That is not how reality works. And narcissists are, in fact, clinically speaking, in a perpetual state of disconnection from reality. Regardless of how much pain the narcissist inflicts on others and causes destruction, their ability to assess the real effects of their behavior on others does not exist for them. They lack the capacity to self-reflect. But, does it all catch up? Absolutely. Karma applies to each and every one of us. We shall reap what we have sown, whether it be for good or bad. And the narcissist is not exempt from the experiences that every individual will go through, should they live to old age. Narcissists are essentially living on borrowed time. They create their own pitfalls, antagonize enemies, and accumulate a significant negative karmic debt, which continually lurks around the narcissist, quietly conveying an important message that we shall meet soon. Narcissists think they can create wildfires, scorching those around them, and that they can just walk through the inferno without blinking an eye. Their ability to escape the consequences of their actions relies on finding a willing individual who will bear the burden of the hell they have created. However, as time goes on, finding such volunteers or unsuspecting targets becomes increasingly challenging. Consequently, the narcissist will have to bear their own burden. For the victims of their abuse, there is not enough justice for the damage done. It takes a lot of compassion and understanding to forgive and forget. To recover, we have to let go. The narcissist's life is likely not going to end well as their misdeeds pile up. Eventually, they will be caught in a situation where there is nowhere to turn. With no family willing to offer support, no friends remaining, their youthful looks gone, lacking the necessary skills or connections for good employment, facing financial difficulties, left with limited means to attract others, and no past supply willing to return. Think of a slow downward spiral as narcissists age and burn bridge after bridge. They cannot acknowledge their own deficits after everyone they have bullied, controlled, and abused. Successful recovery through therapy is stymied without true admission that they are not superior, special, and grandiose. Narcissists are always spinning dozens of plates to feel balanced, so that they can breathe and function. They feel they need to put in a lot of effort to maintain enough people in their vicinity to give them enough supply to survive. The moment the plates stop spinning, the narcissist feels doomed. They feel doomed because they know that nobody has goodwill towards them, so unless they can orchestrate things for their survival, they feel they are destined for failure. And orchestrating things for their survival is definitely exhausting and uncertain. The karma of narcissists is that they are forever deprived of peace. They live in a constant state of fear and vulnerability, as things can go wrong in countless ways. And narcissistic injuries, or even worse, are always lurking around the corner. And they are powerless to stop that. Narcissists cannot rest. They are constantly hunting for new supply. It is their mission in life. They are like addicts. Not only are they dependent on substances like alcohol, sex, and drugs, but also addicted to attention. Their very survival appears to hinge on it, and without it, they feel they would wither and die. So, this fear drives them to keep looking for the next fix. In addition to that, their ego is also frighteningly fragile. Narcissists spend their lives building a perfect image of themselves and developing coping mechanisms that allow them to hide from the fact that they are complete monsters, To rest, to stop, inevitably is to think, and thinking eventually leads to that image eroding because then they would have to look at their own pain, and then at the pain that they have caused others. But that's not possible because they feel that they are perfect. Thus, it becomes a never-ending circle of self-torture. The only way they can survive is to constantly keep moving, by any and all means possible. It's genuinely heart-wrenching to witness this. However, don't be fooled by the narcissist's action that makes them appear to have moved on like nothing happened. When their amoral tactics create repercussions and disasters, this only accentuates their inherent feelings of deep shame and unworthiness. This is the perpetual hell that the narcissist lives in. Rather than deal with these fears and pain from their unhealed inner wounds, the narcissist settles on selling their soul. As a result, they find themselves compelled to fabricate even bigger lies, employ more deceitful tactics, and evade personal accountability, leading to a further deterioration of their inner self. This, in turn, results in the accumulation of more pain, fear, and shame for them. That is the karma of the narcissist. And at the end of the journey of this lifetime, most, if not all narcissists, will end up with horrendous inner pain, with no energy left to manipulate, as the maintenance of a false self does take a lot of energy and effort, and probably with no one hanging around to project onto anymore, because the charm has long gone. If any person did stay attached despite the abuse, the narcissist will reject and get rid of them anyway, as a projection of his or her own self-rejection. The end of the road for the narcissist is lonely, empty, and torturous. There is nowhere to go for the narcissist, other than face their tortured inner demons alone. It is ironic that the entire life script of the narcissist has been designed to avoid their inner pain, and at the end of life they will realize that all of it was to no avail. That reminds me of the expression that people die how they live. The narcissist's karma is to push others into living fulfilling lives, while they are doomed to not enjoy their own. Their karma is that they will never actually be that character they desperately want to portray. Being a narcissist is its own punishment. While the rest of us enjoy freedom, narcissists are bound by karma to live their petty, empty, unhappy, insecure, and loveless lives. They are perpetually unsatisfied, constantly hungry for more, and nothing ever suffices for them. Their karma is just being who they are. To never know love and peace, and to never be genuinely happy. To be them and to live their life is a nightmare. They get their karma when you don't care anymore. It hits them like a train. Trust me, your indifference towards them and your focus on personal healing hurts them more than anything else. Every narcissist is destined to die several times before their very last breath. They pay the price of abusing the people who cared for them. Deep down their ego, their pride and entitlement chip away, and the veil between reality and their self-created illusion starts to fade away. The poison that they used against everyone finally starts to eat them from within. If this is not karma, then what else could it be? Karma also makes sure that narcissists suffer in old age. Friends will have long abandoned them. Why would anyone want to stay around someone who consistently disappoints and essentially acts as a freeloader? They only reach out to name drop or borrow something. A narcissist's phone can be mighty quiet as they get older. All their ex-partners will have moved on and improved their lives significantly by parting ways with them. The likelihood of them accepting offers for coffee is slim to none, and rightfully so. Who would want to engage with a wrinkled old individual who has been bemoaning their lack in life? Their financial situation will be quite precarious as they are not known to be prudent savers in any way. Unless they receive an inheritance or a substantial windfall, they will barely manage to scrape through. After a life spent causing significant harm to others, the consequences finally catch up with them. In the end, it leads to nothing but emptiness and eventually death. Their life is the embodiment of karma. It is understandable that you might want to see karma strike your narc, and for justice to be served. But hanging around to see it happen just holds you back. Instead, take joy in the fact that you possess the wisdom and self-esteem to break free and start anew, creating a better life for yourself. The most beneficial course of action for survivors is to focus on your healing, gain insights from the experience, and entrust the universe with their karma. Avoid getting trapped in anticipation of their retribution, as it will only squander your valuable time, and life is too precious to waste. Don't concern yourself with their karma. It will eventually catch up to the narcissist. It's only a matter of time. There may be a distinct possibility that they are facing their retribution at this very moment. Maybe they are experiencing rejection from someone, or are being entangled in a legal lawsuit. Alternatively, perhaps their reckoning awaits them in the future. There are numerous possibilities of what could be happening to the narcissist, none of which they are likely to display on social media for the world to see. Instead of dwelling on the past, focus on yourself and remain committed to your personal journey. Embrace the future with confidence, knowing that better days lie ahead. Take pride in your brave choice to leave that toxic relationship and celebrate the strength and resilience you have demonstrated. Always remember that you possess the ability to feel and experience love, which is an accomplishment in itself. That puts you light years ahead of the narcissist. I trust that this video has offered you ample clarity on the manner in which narcissists undergo karma. If you found this content to be valuable and enlightening, please feel free to share your experiences and thoughts in the comments section below. Please demonstrate your support by giving this video a thumbs up, sharing it with others, and subscribing to my channel. Your support plays a crucial role in the growth of the channel and allows it to reach a wider audience who may find it beneficial. Be sure to activate the notification bell icon to stay updated and not miss out on my upcoming videos. I express my gratitude to everyone for tuning in and watching. Let us help spread the awareness and lead healthier and fulfilling lives.